Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Lines End Podcast. We're here to talk about everything that happened in our very late Monday night, last game of the jornada, matchup versus Cruz Azul. So definitely have lots to talk about that. Also, keeping in mind that this weekend we have Pumas coming up right before a really heavy schedule that me and Louis definitely talked about last week. So if you're watching us via Periscope on Twitter or YouTube, join the conversation. Let us know what your thoughts are of anything that we're talking about. Feel free to jump in the conversation. We'll definitely share your comments on the screen. So, gentlemen, Carlos, Louis, how are we feeling at this point in
Not
time?
good.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than losing right before the FIFA break and then having to sit those 3 weeks and think in the corner and think about what we did. It's a little better to get the loss on the on the returning end because we know there's a chance to redeem ourselves coming up soon, multiple chances to redeem ourselves coming up soon. But yeah, in the moment, I was not a happy camper.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of plenty of bad takeaways from this game. I mean, I really thought it was going to be a much better game considering we had that long FIFA break. A lot of our guys were rested, they're fresh. I mean, they should have been ready to go, and I think we could have at least got one in there. I mean, props to Corona for being the wall that he was that game and saving Cruz Azul from losing. Um, But I think on our end, I don't know, tactically, we were just dominated and outsmarted. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully this doesn't lead to any losing streak. And hopefully, the guys can get over this one and we can get a win this Sunday because we have CCL coming up and that's going to be very important for us.
Yeah, I'd say outsmarted more than dominated. We had a lot of the ball and we had a lot of chances. They just knew they executed the high press and the bus parking really to perfection. And props to them. It hasn't been as easy to play us that way as it was toward the tail end, let's say, of the Ambriz era, like his final season when things didn't really go well for us until the end. Teams kind of had, after our championship season, teams kind of figured us out for a bit, and then last season it kind of, I don't know, we had a little bit of luck, we had a little bit of opportunism, a lot of just great individual moments that kind of saved us from sort of an underwhelming tactical performance as a team. But in this match, we didn't have any of that. Like when you depend on luck, even a little bit, and on just great individual brilliance and genialidades, as I always say, when you depend on that, there are going to be nights when there just aren't any. I mean, when you're not as tactically sound as I know the team wants to get to, and I'm sure, Holland is a highly regarded coach. He's getting a lot of heat. He's been getting a lot of heat since he's been here in spite of what he's done. He just seems like somebody who no le cae bien a la afición. I don't quite understand it. I really don't. He comes highly regarded. He's done some great things with some great teams, and he clearly has a tactic. He clearly has a plan. It's just not showing. And that plan has got to show when the luck and the great individual brilliance just isn't there, like it wasn't on Monday.
So before we dig in a little bit more, because I do have a comment to say, feeding off of Louis, let's go ahead and go to the pregame so we can talk about lineups and how we looked like, and Carlos will give us all that info.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Pre-game news to talk about a couple of points here that I put down. Santiago Colombato returned to the lineup. He didn't start, which was kind of surprising, but he did get a few minutes, I think, in the second half. Angel Mena was also out. It was said today, I think, by Israel Romo that he wasn't going to be available until Chivas for, match day 6, I think it is. So I think he's going to be sitting out CCL, according to Romo. He posted a video today. on his Twitter. Shout out to him. And then Kagelmacher. I hope that I pronounced it and not butchered it.
Louis, I think Louis got the pronunciation down.
Well, I watched a Peñarol video from a while back where he pronounced his own name, and he pronounced it like you originally thought it was, Carlos Kagelmacher.
Oh, Kagelmacher. Okay.
So,
Kagelmacher.
Then they say Makel. Anyways, go on.
I would have thought it was Kagelmacher, but it turns out you were right.
Yeah. So he made his debut, came off the bench. Not much to see there. Not much to say, I think, in my opinion. But I think moving forward, we have 7 games in 20 days, so I think he's probably going to get a start real soon. Yeah, what do you guys think? Colombato returning, Mena out, and Kagelmacher is debut.
You want to go, Louis?
Well, I think the biggest byproduct of both his arrival and being in the convocatoria is not even about him. It was about the play of Mosquera and Barreiro. For me, were the 2 best players on the field by far. They were the 2 best players on the pitch, and I don't think it's any kind of coincidence that they were a little more motivated not to lose minutes, not to lose their starting job now that they have some legit competition. And that's really what he is. And if that's honestly what he ends up being, then he's a good signing, even if he doesn't really do much on his own. I mean, internal competition, that's part of what any healthy team dynamic needs. And it really showed. Those guys were los únicos rescatables for me, honestly, in the game. And to a degree, Poncho Blanco, not having played in a really, really long time. I mean, he always does a fine job. Mm-hmm. You never are really that worried when he comes in as your backup keeper, which I don't really see the need to rotate your goalkeeper. I think Cota could play all the CCL and league matches and be just fine, but it's not up to me. And so Poncho Blanco was perfectly fine in goal, but other than him, my only positive takeaways were from Barreiro and Mosquera, and I really think that had to do with Kagelmacher making his first appearance in the matchday squad. They want to show that he came off the bench, and they want to show that that's where he should remain.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, Mosquera was on 10. He was just incredible. I think I've seen a lot of growth in him, and I think that game definitely stunned me of how well he was doing. Because I'm a hard critic on him for various reasons, but I think he has improved so much. So I thought he had a really, 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 really awesome game. Definitely missed Colombato. I need him back urgently, because there was just so much lack of creativity in the midfield. I mean, we see a Chapito Montes. I'm not convinced fully yet. I mean, Omar, he never plays 90 minutes, and whatever he plays that day, it was just not enough for me. Like, it was just lacking.
Yeah, it's multiple weeks in a row we've been saying this about Montes. I mean, even dating back to last season, the problem is they're still treating him as though he is the player he was during the championship season and still shouldering him with the same amount of responsibility. And I'm not sure he's up to that. There has to be someone in there. The problem is Omar Fernandez isn't quite up to his max level yet either. And so if the 2 of them are not on form and Colombato's not starting, that really hurts your creativity. Those are your 3 main creators, I would say. And if one of them's out and the other 2 are not on form, that's going to spell trouble. I mean, you're going to possess the ball. You're going to get to a certain point in the attack, and then you're going to run out of ideas. That's what happened time and time again in this match. And that combined with our bend, don't break defense, that's always within one mistake of disaster.
Yeah.
Made for kind of a nerve-wracking match. And we had that one mistake by... All right, Yosfi, but this is why I just don't trust you.
I mean, we literally just talked about him last podcast of how he's his inconsistency, and it's always something.
Well, I mean, I think if we didn't have a glut of wingers, he'd be better as a winger, because I'm not convinced by his man marking. I'm not convinced by his tackling. I'm not convinced by his possession. Like I'm not the qualities you need as an outside back don't really convince me. His qualities in the attack, like his qualities as a winger, that's where he really shines. But if he's the last man back, and it's a bad giveaway off of him, that spells disaster, and it spelled disaster in this game.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see if Ozvi doesn't get back into his top form or anywhere near it, if Holland will recognize that and put Tecillo as a left back, and now that we have Kagelmached, use him as a center back, or even use Kagelmached as an outside back. Doesn't he play outside back as well?
He is capable of playing on the right. Yes,
but at this point in time, I don't want to move Mosquera.
Yeah,
that's
a good point.
I do not. I mean, he really stunned me. I told watching the game with Tom, I'm like, what is Mosquera doing? Like, he has no business being on the attack on the right wing, and it was like on and on and on and on, and I'm just like, I love it. Like, I'm loving it, so credit to him.
From what we know of him, he should have no business doing that, but his position in the modern game really does call for it, and if he's capable of that, he remains, I think, he's always in the top in the stats for players who run the most distance, and I think fastest players too, especially when he's deployed as a center back. He's always one of the faster players still. I mean, he gets a little older, but I don't know, his position as a defender, I think you can grow, mature, and get better with age a lot more than you can as an attacking player. Yeah. There are exceptions. But yeah, I think we're seeing the best of him in what really shouldn't be considered the prime of his career anymore necessarily. He's kind of just after it. But I think he's getting better, and he's really showing out, and he really showed out in this one. He and Barreiro were the positive takeaways for me. I don't think Holland's going to make wholesale changes or freak out based on one loss. Like, this was one loss. It was the first of the season against a good team, por la mínima,
Yeah.
And I just like. It was bitter. I was bitter about it in the moment. It was not fun. But you also have to look at the bigger picture here. No team goes undefeated. Even when we broke the points records, I mean, we still had 2 or 3 losses or more in those seasons. Nobody goes undefeated in a season, and it stinks that it was at home, and you never like to lose, and it stinks to get shut out. Like, it wasn't even if it were like a back and forth, anybody's game kind of loss, multiple goals, that kind of thing, it would feel different. Every loss and every circumstance, when something doesn't go your way, depending on the details of how it went, it can kind of feel different. It stinks, but I mean, we can't overreact to this. Overreacting to things is kind of the norm in our fan base right now, getting more and more every day. And honestly, I can't stand it. It's getting intolerable how much our fans are freaking out over nothing.
Yeah. And that's why I say,
especially coming off the season, especially coming off of the season that we had, the first season that we had with Holland. He's earned a little bit of trust, people. You can't be crucifying him just yet.
Yeah. And I think that's why I say I was not as mad with the loss, because like Louis mentioned, it was a 1-0, which came down to a simple, silly mistake. I mean, let's be honest. Like, off the bat, Leon had so much intensity. I mean, Corona, every ball that he was trying to, release, there was always a Leon man there. A lot of high pressing from Meneses, from Fede. I mean, they were on top of it. I think it came down to Leon did not have luck that night. I think that's what it. I mean, I wasn't mad. I mean, me, I'm, I can imagine Louis being there and being better. I don't know. I feel like it was clear what was missing. It was clear what was going on. There's things that could be fixed. I mean, they're not a bad team. There was a lot of give and go. I think it just came down to luck. And that's why I'm not mad about it. And I'm not overreacting about it at this point in time, especially with the next couple of games that we have going on. It's back to back to back to back. And that's when, like we've seen in the past, when Leon his CCO or doble jornadas, things get kind of rocky with, if they mess up one game or how the next game looks like mentally, because I think mentally Leon lacks a little bit. But hopefully in this run, it just makes them stronger, because we don't have room for mistakes.
I just can't stand the alarmismo, man. Because so they lost this game, and then after that, it's like people are saying, "Well, that's it. The season's lost. There's no hope." And because of this, they're gonna lose to Guastatoya. If they play like this, they're gonna lose to Guastatoya. And I'm like, if they play a game like any of the 4 league games that they've played so far, they will annihilate Guastatoya.
I mean,
Like that's what
respectfully,
people.
you can't compare Cruz Azul to Asatoya.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. I understand we're traumatized in CCL. We've had 2 very very bad goes of it the past couple of years, and there's no reason to think, even with our Leagues Cup win, where we kind of shook the monkey off our back with playing against MLS teams in international competition, whatever you like. There's still people who but I just can't stand the trends. Like these people, they lose nothing by predicting that we'll lose, because if they turned out to be right, then they look like geniuses, and if they turn out to be wrong, nobody will even remember what they predicted, and no one will care. They'll just be happy that we won. No one will care. So it's like it's lazy fanning. I don't want to tell anyone how to fan, but that's a lazy way to fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the major red flag for me in this game was the fact that Holland just didn't know what to do tactically once he knew that Cruz Azul wasn't giving up an inch of space. They were consistently high pressing, they were consistently parking the bus, and he was just on the sideline scratching his head like, I don't know what to do with, like, he didn't know what to do. And as a coach, you have to know how to modify your pieces, try to break down the bus, I guess. I don't know, but he just there was something that was missing in Holland that I think he's still learning. I think that his first season, yeah, it was a very important learning lesson, but I think he's still learning how to play. Because like let's be honest, like if every team from now on played us the way Cruz Azul did, then we're just going to lose every game, and it's going to be brutal watching it, and it's going to hurt to watch. But luckily, a lot of the teams were going to.
I don't know if I go that. Not every team is capable of pulling off that strategy, that defensive strategy.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, we suffered a couple years ago against Veracruz, if you guys remember that. The worst team in the league, and we couldn't score. We scored against them in like the 89th minute, but we struggled for 89 minutes, wondering like, what are we gonna do? Like, these guys won't move. They literally have an 11-man wall against their goal.
And they had lost something. They had lost something like 40 straight matches or something like that. No, it wasn't that many. It was. They had a really really long losing streak, and we were almost the team that broke it.
Yeah.
But then we ended up being the team that broke the Atlas curse, so it didn't end up being much better.
We break a lot of curses.
Yeah.
That's always the alarming part.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say to catch up? So substitutions. We saw Elias in. We saw Santi Ormeño get more minutes.
People are tearing up, dragging Ormeño.
Yeah.
They're not too thrilled with Elias either. I really don't understand. I thought his minutes were okay.
I thought he
did all right. Yeah.
I thought he did okay, but they're also saying like, no, ever since he came back, he's just been a tronco, and like he hasn't been a factor at all. And I'm like, did you watch
last season? No.
Like, we literally won 2 games.
That's
because of great individual efforts by him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's 6 points that he gave us. And
what do you guys think of Ormeño though? Like, that was maybe the clearest chance he had at goal all season, maybe since he got here. So
me and Louis talked about this topic a lot last podcast, and about how I think Louis quote me. I think you said he needs that goal to give him some confidence.
Yeah.
And he had it.
I thought maybe he'd get it in CCL. I thought maybe going to Guatemala would be a great opportunity for him to start and just run past.
Would you say like if he had a hat trick?
But then I saw the convocatoria for CCL, and his name is not on the list.
I think there was going to be. Wasn't there going to be an explanation on why? Because Federico wasn't on there as well. Ormeño. It was like 2 other players.
I don't know. The list I saw, I don't remember Fede, but the list I saw, Ormeño wasn't on it.
Well, apparently, I think it's going to be updated as it goes.
Okay.
Because I think I saw something about it.
I don't know how you keep them out. I mean, I don't know how you keep some of these important players out. There's probably a mistake somewhere.
I hope so, because I really want him to get minutes in CCL.
So someone had
and
asked,
get some goals.
like Carlos had gave Israel Roma a shout out. I actually saw it on his. He did release the list, and then someone in the comments asked, ¿Por qué no está Fede ni Ormeño? He responded with, la lista se actualizará en los próximos días y aparecerán todos los nombres. So maybe it's just a process of when.
All right,
Yeah.
I hope so, because I think it could be a great opportunity for him to gain some confidence. I will say also, while this might seem weird, I almost prefer that we didn't get that gift of a PK called for us at the end there. I think the team will learn more from a loss than they will from a draw that got gifted to them. I think their attitude in the next game will be different as a result of that. However, if we had been given a penalty, I would have hoped they would let Ormeño take it, seeing as how Mena, and I hope if Ormeño's on the field and we get a penalty, as long as Mena is not there, I hope they will let Ormeño give it a try. He scored a lot of penalties for Puebla. He's good at it, and I think that could help build his confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Any other takeaways from the matchup that we haven't mentioned? Obviously, Santi Colombato not getting a start. Obviously, we saw Gary getting his debut, 15 minutes. I didn't think he did bad. Obviously, there's more to see.
Luis Montes, Omar Fernandez, the two little creators that haven't really been showing up lately.
Omar Fed was disappointing.
Yeah.
Montes just can't retain possession. He can't possess the ball like he used to.
He gives
It's
away.
taken off the ball so easily.
Yeah, he gives away the ball too easily.
And like I said, they're still trusting him to be what he was. They want everything to go through him, and I just don't know if that's the best course of action anymore. I think he can still be effective. Like he had a couple of great tiro libres, and he had a couple of dangerous shots on goal that Chewy just saved.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the touch is still there. The shot is still there. The quality in a lot of areas is still there. Just as the main playmaker, the main enganche, like the one who makes everything else around him click, I just don't know if I think it needs to be a group effort now. And I think you need Colombato out there as much as he can be.
I think he needs to start. But in order for him to start, I guess Omar needs to be on his game. Because if he's not in his game, then what other option do we have?
Well, I mean, I don't know. You have to realize most of that title run last season was without Montes.
Yeah.
We learned to play without him. And theoretically, having him back should just make it that much better. But I think it hasn't been that way. I think he kind of detracts from what they learned how to do without him in some strange, well, not even strange, in an understandable way. Because like I said, they learned how to play without him, and they learned how to play well without him.
Yeah.
And sad, but true.
I mean, ever since that hot take that I had about Luis Montes being finished, he hasn't been himself anymore. I mean, he had one. I don't think he's done.
I just think his role needs to adapt.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's also age. I mean, the guy's almost 36 now? 35, 36.
But look at Sambu.
But Sambu's a different animal.
But look at Ronaldo. But look, I mean, I feel like
Ronaldo came off the bench.
I feel like Chapito will bounce back later on in the.
I hope so. I really hope so. I really hope at some point during CCL he gets a start and he has a breakout game because he needs it. I think not just Ormeño needs a breakout game and a goal, but I think Chapito needs it just as much as Ormeño. He needs that assist. He needs that goal. He needs the megs. He needs the good playmaking. But what he doesn't need is losing the ball, because I think that's where it hurts the most. That's where it hurts the team the most, because when he gives away the ball, that's when we're caught off guard, and that's when the opponent has their opportunities. But yeah, I hope he has a breakout game one of these days.
Yeah, because I feel like obviously if we don't have Mena by until Chivas, think if we have Mena back, if we bench Chapito, we slide in Colombato. Let's say Omar Fed is not doing it. We got bench him. You can move Meneses there. Then you can do Mena and Federico, and then Davila.
Well, Fede was also off his game.
He was also off his game. I think he's still good.
It's going to be a process for him. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously
I give him
he
a
was
lot of
motivated in his first couple appearances, but he's adapting to a new team. We have to remember that, and a new league, and just a new style, a new everything.
What do you guys think about this rotation of the goalkeepers? Like Louis said, like Cota's perfectly capable of playing every game. I don't know what the reason
I
is.
understand.
But
I
I don't
understand the
mind it.
rotation. I understand the rotation everywhere else. I just don't think it's necessary.
It really
Like
is.
these guys are not going to get.
Think about it. You're Poncho. You're not getting any playing time. I mean, that's all. Think of it. And then he's a well suited. Like we mentioned. Like honestly, I don't mind. You know, I like Poncho Blanco. Like,
was this the game to do it though? Or I would have thought maybe the Pumas game.
Maybe even a CCL game.
Or or I would have no problem with Poncho starting in Guatemala City against Guastatoya.
Yeah.
That would be fine. Like
but I mean, Rodolfo Cota's putting up record numbers. I mean, he had 9 clean sheets last season, and he's been on his game this season.
I mean, he's not going to get tired. Goalkeepers can play the minutes. They don't. I understand the rotation in any other position, but it's not really necessary with Cota. I mean, unless he's hurt, unless he's dealing with some kind of nagging injury they're not telling us about. I mean, that would be the only thing. Because, like, in fact, like, why mess with the mojo when you got the mojo going so good? You know.
But what about the mojo in the midfield, Louis?
Well, that's a completely different. That's a different thing altogether. That's a different topic altogether. We're talking about goalkeeper right now.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't see a problem with it.
Well, I didn't. Again,
because it's not his fault that we lost. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
So it's like,
in fact, he had a couple of nice saves.
Yeah.
And honestly, he didn't have to do really that much. He didn't have to have a great individual effort. Chuy Corona on the other end had to do a lot more to keep his team alive.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm not going to take too much pride in that because how many times have we said, oh, if not for Cota, this would have been a really bad loss. Instead, it was a win, you know? Well, it worked against us the other way around tonight on Monday.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so let's take a little break from our loss before we head into a little preview of Pumas. Go ahead and do a jornada rundown. Even though the Chivas Juarez was supposed to be Saturday, ended up being played yesterday. So technically, I guess our game was not the last of the jornada, but still. There was a lot of activity, and we're going to go through the rundown. Did anybody watch any games?
I watched a few of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched most of them. Like when your game is what we thought at the time was going to be the last one of the jornada, I mean, you got plenty of time to watch the other ones.
Yeah.
Definitely. Starting off with Pachuca 3-1 contra Necaxa, which news?
Golazo.
Yes.
Golazo.
From Avilés.
And he's done that before. You guys remember the one he made against Atlas at the Jalisco when he was with Xolos? Yes. It was nominated for Puskás.
That was really, really, really good.
He's done it before, so I mean that's
it's a norm for him.
It's automatic.
That was encouraging. It reminds us how good Pachuca is, and we handled them pretty well when we played them before the FIFA break. So that to me was encouraging. I know Necaxa's going to be a bottom feeder probably, but you saw what they did to Santos. So
yeah,
I mean, you just never know.
So news for Necaxa, Pablo Guede left, which I think is really stupid. I know it's not a bad word, but I think it was really stupid to judge him off 10 games and not give him continuity. But anyway, that's none of my business.
Pablo Guede just had a raw deal. He's a good coach. He keeps getting put in these situations where he has no chance to succeed.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, you go from Necaxa playing a certain style, then you get Pablo Guede, which is totally different. I mean, I don't. I think the organization has to give him continuity and give him.
But that's the thing. Necaxa is famous for having no continuity. They're buying and selling all the time. They just have zero I mean, the only player they keep for multiple seasons is also Gonzalez, and like everyone else is just, they're buyers and sellers. Like they don't really care about what how good the product is, as long as the product is profitable. And that's not good for a coach like Guede. But you saw what he did with Morelia, where he also didn't. I mean, the team was about to move to another city the following season. He didn't have a lot of support there. In Xolos, like that team's been a disaster for several years.
I mean, that was a disaster move. Yeah, Xolos was a disaster move.
And he's just gotten. I think he's a good coach and still has a chance to do some good things in this league if he can get in the right situation. I thought when he was the second choice if Ariel Holland said no, if we recall, when Leon was looking for manager, and I think he would have done a good job in Leon with the continuity that our roster has and our directiva being dedicated to that continuity. But that's the raw deal for Guede. I feel bad for him. I hope he lands on his feet.
Yeah, definitely. Next matchup was the America versus San Luis. Did you guys watch that game?
Oh yeah, that was great.
I watched the ending. When you guys were like laughing at America, I was like, "What's going on? I got to tune in."
I mean, shout out to my friends at the Eagle Eye podcast, and I am so sorry for your loss, but that was a great game to watch. So with Layun getting red carded, it was just
and then they scored 2 goals down a man to make it interesting.
Yes.
So shame on San Luis for letting that happen, but they still pulled it off.
Yeah. And
up
until that point,
it reminded me a lot of Leon's 3-0 win at the Azteca a few years ago. America had all of the ball, they had all the chances, they were pressing and pushing and couldn't get anything past, and Leon just like on 3 counterattacks
finished it.
just finished them off. Yeah,
that was an interesting game to watch. And funny enough, there was I can't remember who, but it was a commentator in that game that had mentioned that Jimmy Lozano was lined up to coach San Luis, and apparently it was all gonna go good until a topic came up. I can't recall what it was, but I think maybe he was already in talks with Necaxa and he kind of leaned to one way. But anyways, they have a coach Brasileño. I think he'll be good fit for them. Let's see what else happened. Oh yeah, that night it was Xolos Pumas, which was a kind of bizarre game, but hey, Xolos ended up winning 1-0. Sunday, Querétaro Puebla. I mean, Larcamón is just the topic of discussion of any team at this point, whenever he is up for grabs, winning 2-0. Atlas versus Santos. Atlas winning 2-1. So there's that. And then obviously the Tigres Mazatlan, which I was so annoyed about. I don't know if you guys watched that game.
Yeah, I watched that.
I watched the first half and then I was following along. And I when I left the house, it was 2-0 Tigres. Then I saw that Mazatlan had tied it up, and I was like, "Oh, awesome! We got ourselves in here." And then, it didn't happen. It didn't happen for him.
Which shout out to Luis from Club Tigres, but that was not a penal. That was a given penal to Tigres. Yeah, it was not a penal. And obviously yesterday's matchup that got postponed. Chivas winning 3-1 to Juarez.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
Shame on Juarez, man. Shame on Juarez.
I mean, yeah.
You're up a man and you can't win.
Shout out to Alexis Vega because he did score a pretty good goal. But
yes, but we don't like him on this podcast. So.
I like him, Louis. So he
has a really punchable face.
Louis. So the jornada.
Not as much as Antuna, but
I think that's never mind. I'll be quiet.
Yeah, don't say it.
I'll be quiet. So next jornada starts tomorrow. Starts off with Mazatlan Xolos, Puebla Atlas, which I think I'm really intrigued with that game.
Yeah, it'll be a good one.
It'll be a good one. Saturday, Chivas Tigres, also a good game. San Luis Toluca, we'll definitely see Ambris in action. Saturday night, Cruz Azul Necaxa, Santos America. Sunday, Pumas Leon, and obviously there's no afternoon games after the Pumas Leon due to Super Bowl Sunday. and followed by Pachuca Querétaro on Monday Night Football. So yeah, that was the jornada rundown. So everybody will be watching Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be in Mexico City. I'll be exiting the Estadio Olímpico Universitario and looking for a place to watch it.
Definitely get a good seat. Get a good seat.
Yeah.
Sorry, my dogs. Carlos, start off with the Pumas preview.
Wait. I want to talk about something real quick. I want to talk about the San Luis versus Toluca, because you have Ruben Sambuesa on one end and you have Nacho Ambriz on the other end. And word was that they didn't like each other, and that's why Sambuesa ended up leaving.
Yeah.
So what do you think that like there's gonna be like some extra, there's gonna be a little extra motivation by Sambuesa to go out there and defeat Toluca?
I don't think so.
No, you think he's just gonna come out and
I
play
don't
his
know. I
normal
think
game?
I think they had professional differences about the way Sambuesa was used here. But I don't think they actively dislike each other. Sure, I mean there'll be competitive energy abounding there, but I mean San Luis just played against America, which was also his former team. And I thought that was an interesting storyline there too. It'll be another interesting storyline, but I don't know. I don't expect that much to come of it.
All right.
But who would have thought that Puebla Atlas would maybe be the match of the jornada? You know?
Puebla Atlas, yeah. I mean, Puebla is surprisingly doing well, and I mean, I feel like they've been consistently good under the radar. Even though people count them out, even though they make Liguilla and people go, oh, whoever gets Puebla, that's an automatic win. But now I think they're looking like the real deal, and it might be a little too early, but I think people are starting to bet on this team. They're starting to look at Puebla like,
I don't know.
Like
I still don't think
they could potentially be a good contender.
I don't know. Even if they finish in a super leader, I don't necessarily like their chances in Liguilla. I mean, their Liguillas have not
You
been.
just have no faith, do you? You have to give props to Larcamón working with nothing.
No. I like what he's done. And I think they have a chance to be a really good regular season team. If they meet up with León again, even if León's a lower seed, I mean, adios Puebla. I'm sorry. Like our roster is so much better built for Liguilla than theirs is.
We'll see.
And that's why the two times that they faced off in Liguilla, León has won.
Yeah.
I like
just had to throw that out there.
Quietly.
I mean, recently, I know that in the past they did a couple more times. I'm talking about the last couple of years under Larcamón. Actually, I guess the one a couple of years ago was not with Larcamón. That was still with what's his name, Reynoso.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at the bottom table, I mean, Mazatlan in 18, Santos 17, America in 16th. I mean, I think America and Santos are the worrying ones down there of the quote unquote bigger clubs, but. I mean, there's still lots of games, but I guess, and then they face each other this weekend, so that's another game to keep tabs on, the America Santos. So I think this weekend has a lot of really good jornada. Games.
Should be an exciting weekend.
Yes, definitely. So catch me watching Viernes Botanero tomorrow, Saturdays. I'm watching all of them.
Same.
That's watching all of them.
Same.
Okay, so we had talked about a little bit at the beginning of possibly what the team might look like. Obviously, we have Puma Sunday, then Wasatoya midweek at CCL. I guess at this point, if we have CCL, obviously still days from this point and on. But what are we thinking as a predicted lineup versus Pumas at this point in time?
I think we see the same, a lot of the same guys, except maybe Poncho Blanco. I think I like that lineup, and I think if we had that lineup against a team like Pumas, we can probably go up early, and that way we can rest some legs for CCL. But yeah, I don't see a lot of shuffling happening this Sunday because we need these 3 points. We don't want to fall too back, too low on the table, especially since it sounds like we're going to be concentrating more on CCL rather than league. So we need these 3 points, and what better opponent than Pumas to pick up 3 points because they're, I mean, no disrespect to them, but they're not one of the most difficult teams to play. This is probably an easy win. Also considering the fact that we have a good history playing there.
That's what I was about to say. It's never even easy though. It's never an easy place to play under the hot sun. I don't know. I haven't checked the forecast or anything, but under the hot sun, beating directly down at altitude on that pitch.
Ooh,
it's not an easy place to win, but they've won their last 3 regular season matches there, and they haven't lost there, I believe, since 2017, I want to say. Yeah, it's been good running. Maybe they want to get a little revanche after losing to Pumas at home last season. And also, these teams are going to be forever linked to that final they played a couple years ago, or a couple years ago now. And, it'd be nice to go up early. I think it's going to be pretty much the same lineup, except maybe Colombato getting in there. I don't know for who. But I'd like to see him start if he's fit to start.
I think he'll take off Omar.
Omar? For who? Ambris? I like to see youngsters get some minutes in here. I'd like to see Ambris get in there, maybe Pedro Hernandez.
I feel like I'll see Ambris get minutes midweek.
Midweek?
Mm-hmm.
Against Guastatoya?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I definitely need to see Colombato back.
Yeah.
Like ASAP. Like,
I don't know. I know CCL is on everybody's mind, and we've had 2 bad performances in it, and kind of under pressure this season. No matter how the league goes, that CCL is a priority and that we do well, and I believe that is true.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to take this. We got to go in and looking to get a win in this Pumas game, especially because we're coming off a loss. Leon is not a team that loses back-to-back games very often. I mean, they had that bad run to start. What was it? The Clausura 2021, the season after the championship.
Mm-hmm.
They had a very, very poor first half of the season where they strung several losses together, bad performances. Aside from that stretch, I mean, this isn't a team that has lost back-to-back games. And I can't remember aside from that stretch, I can't remember the last time they lost back-to-back games. They didn't lose back-to-back games at all last season, certainly. And so that's why I said, like, it's better for them to have this loss to learn from than getting gifted that draw and getting a point like, well, we didn't play that great, but we still got a draw out of it, so things are fine. Like, no, You didn't play great and you lost. Fix things. And so they need to look and fix things right away against Pumas. They need an immediate response. It can't be, even if they win 5-0 at Guastatoya on Wednesday, they still need to get this Pumas game. It needs to. They need to prioritize it as best they can.
Yeah,
I think it's also worth mentioning that Guastatoya's first place in their league. They're coming off a win, so their spirits are high, their confidence is high, and they're going to be playing at home against us. Yeah. A team that
it's not their home stadium though.
Really?
But they're on home grounds.
They're in their home country, but that's about it. I don't even know how many of their traveling party fans will be there. I got my ticket. The tickets went on sale today. I got mine.
So how much were the tickets, Louis?
It was 200 quetzales, so about $10.
Wait, so it's like basically neutral territory?
Well, CONCACAF has specific rules about which stadiums can be used for their tournaments. And Guastatoya is a town about 90 minutes from the capital, Guatemala. They play in a very small stadium that does not meet the criteria. So pretty much every CCL game featuring a Guatemala team, no matter what part of Guatemala they're from, plays those games at the Estadio Nacional, the home of the Guatemala national team and Comunicaciones.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
That's a cheap ticket. I'm so stunned because the CCL is a cheap ticket.
Yeah.
What about the flight?
Yeah, flight was another story. Although it was still, I got it a while back, so it's still pretty reasonable. And it's direct from Mexico City, where I'm going to be anyway for the Pumas game. So
it worked out greatly for you.
Yeah.
It really did.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely lineup will be interesting. Obviously, me and Louis had mentioned this like every 3 days they have a game. So obviously after Pumas, Wednesday, Guastatoya, that Saturday, Chivas, that Tuesday come back in Leon for CCL, and then another 3 days and it's Necaxa.
Yeah, I'm already thinking about that Chivas game.
No, no, it's still kind of far. You know, we got like
not because
Pumas and
not because
Guastatoya.
I'm not because I'm looking past the games we have before it, but I don't want to come back from Guatemala just for the team to lose at home to Chivas. Like that is not acceptable.
I know.
Yeah, but Chivas always plays with the chip on their shoulder when they visit us. They
do.
Yeah, it's like there's like a mini rivalry there that
Always.
the press isn't going to acknowledge it.
More
What
for
we
them than
were
for
talking
us.
about last week
Yeah.
is that we always end up playing Chivas in the midst of like Doble Jornada or CCL. So it kind of just crushes our like, like hopes and dreams depending on how they do on the game before. And I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
a little
Or
tough.
when we already have the Super Liderato wrapped up, and they break our 12-game win streak. Yeah.
That topic is also banned to live. Okay, so let's go ahead and do prediction time for Pumas. Do we want to go ahead and do prediction time for Guastatoya or
I don't know.
Let's
We're
do it.
going to record another show.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, Louis
don't
going to be
know.
on route, so
We'll have Monday, Tuesday. You'll be there by Tuesday, Louis.
Yes. Well, Monday and Tuesday, I'm going to spend in Antigua, Guatemala, and I booked a tour for a volcano hike tour for the second half of the day on Tuesday. So I don't know what time I would be back, if I would be able to do it on Tuesday. Could maybe do it on Monday, but I'll just be getting there, and I'm kind of probably going to want to go exploring. So I don't know. I can't promise anything.
we can go ahead and do. How about you send us your prediction, and then we'll see if we can do.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll do like a Twitter space or something instead.
Yeah.
And then we can do something there.
Yeah.
Shorter.
Okay.
Since it's just talking because we have the Chivas game, and we'll probably do a pod after the Guastatoya game leading it to Chivas.
Yeah, I mean, the Guastatoya is a 2-leg set, so like even if we don't talk extensively about the first game, we can have an idea of what the series outlook is after game 1 leading up to game 2.
Definitely, and it is an early game, 5:00.
Mm-hmm.
Central for Carlos is 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
You gonna be able to watch it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
I'll take PTO for that. I don't care. I'm just kidding. I don't want to take PTO.
A couple hours. Okay, so let's go ahead and do predictions for Pumas. Let's go ahead into our prediction time. Prediction time. Leon coming off of a 1-0 loss versus Cruz Azul. But hey, Sunday match versus Pumas. Louis, since you'll be attending, I'll have a lot of travel. What is your prediction for Saturday's game versus Pumas?
Sunday.
I'm gonna go a little conservative.
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday.
Sorry.
I'm gonna go a little conservative. I'll say again. I think I said this 3 straight weeks now, but I'll go with a 2-1.
Yeah, you have.
I think Leon wins 2-1. I think that's a little conservative. I think, especially if they score early, they could maybe pour it on a little bit, and could even be more than that. But I'll stick with a 2-1.
2-1. Okay, 2-1. Carlos, your prediction?
I'm gonna go 2-0. I think we'll get there. I think we'll get like a good 1-goal lead in the first half, and then second half we'll make a couple subs because we're dominating the game, obviously. And then somebody will come in there, and maybe somebody like Elias or somebody off the bench will come in and close it out. Hopefully Ormeño, actually. Hopefully we can get one by Ormeño. But 2-0 for me.
2-0. Okay. I'm gonna go conservative. I'm gonna go with a 1-0 versus Pumas. I don't think it's gonna be an easy game. Obviously, Pumas does want to win. I think I don't know if Leon will go all out before the midweek game, so I'm
I
gonna
was
go.
happy to see Pumas lose to Xolos, but then I was like, that's two straight losses, two straight bad losses for Pumas. They're not going to want to lose three straight games at home.
Especially at home. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
Well, against Xolos was not at home, but they lost badly to Tigres after going ahead in that game at home. Yeah, they're not going to want to do that again.
yeah, I'm gonna go with the 1-0 just to be a little bit different too, and we'll see what happens with that. Okay, guys. Anything else before we go?
I don't think so.
Let's go, Leon. We gotta get this win, man.
Yeah.
Points.
It's making me nervous because from here it's like game.
It
So
is. Yeah.
Well, that's why it's nice to have somebody like Kagel Merchir there, and also having these discussions about whether Omar sits or starts or Colombato and all these. You have extra guys. Like at some point, they're all going to have to log some minutes because we just have too many games.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll have lots of Leon action starting off on Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday. Lots of Leon games coming up. So if you guys, for whatever reason, are missing the game on Sunday, make sure you're following Club Leon EN to keep you updated with everything going on in that match. And if for some reason you're still at work and traffic for Wednesday afternoon game, definitely follow Club Leon EN to keep you updated with everything you need to know of Club Leon in English and all the game updates. Don't forget to follow Louis as he will be traveling to Westatoya, so we'll probably see a couple of pictures there and anything that he would like to share on his social media so you guys can get the full experience of CCL as a Leon fan. So thank you guys for watching this episode. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys on another episode of the Lions Den Podcast.